Hi, guys, and welcome to another episode of Brewing E-commerce. And they say inspiration comes in all shapes and sizes. And this one today is somebody who really inspired me and who should inspire a lot of young entrepreneurs out there. And I am so thrilled to have Lucy join me today. Welcome, Lucy.
Thank you, Shatank. Thank you. A pleasure to be here.
So, I'm always amazed by how you started doing things and your clarity and the kind of product offering that you came out in the market, etc., right? But just for everyone else, I'd like you to kind of just start by introducing yourself, your brand, and all the exciting things behind your idea, please.
Of course. So, my name's Lucy Toone. I founded TOMM Jewellery when I was 19 years old from my bedroom at my mum and dad's house. I didn't have any background in product or e-commerce or really anything because I was, so young. But what I did know I wanted to do was create a brand that had a real feeling behind it. Found growing up to be quite isolating. I never felt like I really fitted in. So my passion was to basically build this brand that enabled women and young girls to feel empowered to connect to other people, somewhere where they actually felt comfortable and seen, and it wasn't this intimidating kind of exclusive. I always found that there's a lot of exclusivity to some jewelry brands and some beauty brands in particular. And I think fortunately we're going out of that now, and brands are becoming a lot more attainable and they are becoming a lot more relatable. So yeah, that's why I started the brand, and it's still today the core value of what we do.
Yeah, so the guys listening in now, they can even connect to what I said, inspirational, right? Trying to do something at the age of as young as 19 and having this kind of maturity to do this, Lucy, it speaks volumes of how you are as a person. But I also noticed that you have background of working in beauty space, right? You work with different companies, and different careers around the whole beauty lineup, etc. Is that something which led you to realize that this is a problem statement, or what you talk about the whole inclusiveness, right? Is that something which were kind of grown because of your experience there?
Yeah, I would say so. So I worked in really low levels, retail space. I was a part time. I don't even think I was a beautician. I would be called like a retail assistant, working for some of like the leading brands in the beauty industry. I worked in a retail department store, so for me that was really eye opening because you've got so many different concessions where obviously everything's in one space, whereas you go into one high street store, you can only see so much, whereas I got to see customers going up to different brands within different beauty industry, within different beauty retailers, as well as fashion accessories, fashion, whatever it may be. And the one thing that always was in common within the beauty industry is, in my opinion, the sales assistants always had this in very intimidating face on, and I think some people would know kind of the word that you would call that sort of face. But it wasn't a very approachable, and I don't know, I never found my colleagues were overly approachable for my customers. And actually knowing the colleagues, I might have to shut the window because it's going to get some background noise.
Yeah.
Actually knowing Let me shut the window
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
the fire alarms, the police engines, and whatever else going on is not going to happen. Actually, knowing my colleagues, they weren't nasty people and they were extremely approachable, kind people. But it was almost this thing of exclusivity to come and be part of the brand, to buy our products. You needed to look a certain way, you needed to stand a certain way. And actually, I think it all stemmed from the beauty brands' expectations of who their team were. So, for example, you had to have a certain look to work for Benefit. You had to wear a certain, shade of lipstick to work for Guerlain. It's actually very interesting because it was very similar to I was applying at the time to be be cabin crew. I'd never done cabin crew. I'd never got through and never did it. But
Okay.
there was this whole thing of you've got to look a certain way to be part of the
Yeah.
club,
Yeah.
and so yeah, coming from that industry was a massive fuel, or definitely fueled the why of Tom, because it goes against everything morally that I stand for. And my most exciting thing that I got to do when I was working in these brands was looking for the people that maybe didn't quite fit this mold. They didn't probably look like the cliche customer, but I knew that the emotions that we shared and we wanted to create and help capture for the customer was alive in each and every person that walked through the store, whether they be 60 years old or 20 years old. It didn't really matter, because you can relate everything to someone in some sort of way. So yeah, making people feel seen has always been kind of my core passion. I think there's so much missing from the spaces that we see, especially with so much to consume on social media. I don't think enough people are represented.
Well, I of course haven't shopped in the beauty section, as you might tell,
I'm surprised
but
surprised to hear that.
I'm surprised. Yeah, but what you say is astonishing. It's I couldn't imagine that something like this happened as well. But just trying to draw parallels to it is like, if I go in my really wrecked old car to a Ferrari or a Aston Martin showroom, then he's going to look at it. Hey, you can't even afford me. Why are you here?
Yeah,
Kind of similar thing, but you put it up way nicely, and I did not. Uh,
yeah.
yeah,
It's Pretty Woman. It's
but
the scene from Pretty Woman.
yeah,
It's big mistake.
yeah,
You never know who
wow,
someone's story is, and even taking someone's money aside, like what value they have. At the end of the day, if someone's going to spend money, why would they spend it with you if you don't make them feel seen?
wow, wow. This is far more deeper than I thought, Lucy, and really, really very nice, because yeah, just makes me I've spoken to so many founders and so many guys creating brands, and there's always a reason why I found this problem statement. I found this niche in the product line. I realized that this is harmful, this has chemicals, things like that, right? But your objective and perspective is so unique, completely out there. Wow, wow, this is mind-blowing, to say the least.
Thank you. It
Yeah,
doesn't normally feel like that, so
yeah.
that's very kind. Thank you.
No, there is, and again, knowing you a little bit, I know that you represent that, and you stand for that in your brand, in how you go about, right? um what do you think, like, today's founders, who are against, battling themselves with the large multinationals who have billion-dollar budgets, etc.? Is it very important for the founder to come out and be the face of the brand?
I think that's your secret weapon. I think that's the one thing that you can hold over these multi-million-pound brands, because it gives you're agile, right? As much as it's overwhelming to be doing every single job, but when you're in the world of doing every single job, adding a camera in front of it all doesn't actually make much difference to you. It's kind of like the luxury of, I don't know. I was speaking to someone actually about it over the weekend, and how it's very difficult, in my opinion, to. I can't imagine of starting a brand, establishing a brand, creating success from it, and then all of a sudden having to put my face in front of the camera. So to go
Hmm.
backwards, whereas for me, it wasn't a choice. It was, well, this is the only thing that I can do to get my why out there. To get why would people buy from me? As you say, I'm not reinventing the wheel. I'm not. This isn't a secret serum that's going to solve all the world's problems. My product, is great quality, but so many other different jewelry brands. So why would people buy from me?
Right.
And the only reason that they do, or they initially did, is because they believed in my why as well. And when it comes to, I think, starting a brand, like you say, you are up against so many competitors. I just feel like you can't say you failed unless you've put yourself completely on the line. Um, if it all went under
Yeah,
today, at least I know that I did everything I could personally. It wasn't about paid
excellent.
media. It wasn't about how many I had on my CRM and all that. Like that all stuff's come now. Like 5 years ago, I didn't even know what any
Yeah,
of that meant.
yeah,
So
yeah. But we're gonna go on paid media and stuff because I know
yeah,
your take, and it's really nice, and we're gonna talk a little bit more about it. But just dwelling on what you said, Lucy, was um, I think understanding that that's your value, and you need to be out there, because a lot of brands, I think, still do the mistake of trying to go and say, hey, my product is different. And when they try to do that, like the clothing guys and apparel would come say, hey, I'm sustainable, right? The food guy will come, I'm healthy, I'm organic, and stuff like that. But then, like, thousands of those products available in the market today.
yeah,
I think the way you summarized it is very nice. Is the uniqueness comes from you rather than just a characteristic or a feature of what you're trying to do.
hmm, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And I think you've harnessed that very well, because having that realization for founders, I think, is so critical. Because then your entire go to market strategy, the way you talk to your consumers, the way you communicate, everything kind of starts reflecting out there. Yeah.
yeah.
So was this something that you already knew, or is something, during the journey you kind of pivoted, or you kind of, figured this out, that this might be a better way to do it?
Well, communicating with my
Yeah. Yeah.
being founded, I don't think so. I don't, like I say, I don't think it was a choice. I think it was an essential. There was no other way. Um, it's very interesting even having this conversation because we've changed quite a lot internally, and I think I had put quite a lot of the weight of our like social media success onto a team that maybe weren't actually serving like I thought that they were. And we had to pivot quite dramatically and internally change our team up. And it really hits you
Mhm.
quite, it's quite a big, change when you've kind of got a system and a strategy that works as well. But it kind of reminded me that as much as you can hire like the best people around you to find the trends and edit the things and they're essential, the people that you have
Yeah.
employed are essential, but it's me that's going to be the one that is putting the Santa outfit on and going through the high street. It's me the one that's going to be, let's do this video and do it 20 times to make sure it's perfect. And it is definitely something
Yeah.
that I'm passionate about, but I think I don't
Mhm.
look at it as a strategy. For me, it's like you would, how you build a relationship with any person that you want in your life.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it. If I want to build a relationship with thousands of women, globally or nationally, and I want them to buy my product, then I need to speak to them on an emotional level, like I would my friends, like I would my family,
Yeah.
and that's in the words of marketing,
Wow.
that's how you build retention. But for me, that's how you create long lasting relationships.
Wow. Yeah. In my words, I'm saying you're geeking me out, Lucy. But these are all such gold nuggets for people to understand that, the saying goes, people buy from people at the end of it, right? And that's what you're trying to do, is tell them that, hey, this is how you can connect with me, because I am just you.
Yeah.
I'm nobody from whatever, right? Okay. Wow. Okay. Okay, good. This is way more deeper than I thought the podcast will go, but okay, it's going
On a
well.
Monday afternoon.
So I know when you started, which is about 5 years, and first of all, uh, you know 90% of businesses don't last beyond 3 years time, and e-commerce has one of the highest failure rate in the industry, across other verticals as well, because brands try and spend so much money on bringing traffic, the conversion doesn't happen, they end up spending a lot of money on performance, etc. But your approach to business has been very unique. you've never relied too much on paid media, and you've tried to build your own thing, right? How how did you decide that you want to do this? Yes, one is, I understand that early stage brands don't have a lot of money, to spend on that, so that's one part of it which you slowly get. But you were very TikTok, Instagram kind of a thing, right? You go out there, you tell people. Then how did you go about implementing this, in terms of, when you knew that you were limited on the performance spend, you knew that you had to connect with your brands. You were one of the very few brands in the UK who kind of doing it, and you've kind of cracked the code. Would you say that?
Um, Again, I think it's naivety into how to do it. You know, I was very distant away from the e-commerce world, and I think it's quite overwhelming if you listen to everything. I mean, I feel like I'm in my adult era now, my grown up era. I've now, and only since the beginning of this year have I been learning about, how the balance of, if you just increase your conversion rate by 1%, the impact it has on your, overall revenue. I think I was playing quite a dramatic game for a very long time. So it was like, get in front of thousands of people by doing 6 hour live stream, go and do, try and get Stacey Solomon to blow. These are big booming tasks which are exhausting and also extremely high risk of either it not happening, or when it does happen, the sustainability to actually continue to fulfill that, that need and that demand. And when I sit down today and I'm like speaking, to we've just hired a CMO, and he's like, if we just increase our conversion rate by 1%, like this is the amount of revenue that we'd make. And I was like, what? But that's, I also wouldn't change what I've done, because I feel like we've done the really intense, exhausting side of building a brand
Sure.
very early on. And I think
Yeah.
that there's the logic behind the brand, and that's essential logical thinking, and then there's the actual emotional being of a brand, that's like a thinking, pulsating being that has its own emotions, and that's what I think people are attracted to when they shop from a brand. But the logic is essential to grow that brand, and we've only just stepped into our logical mindset. So I'm really excited for the next 12 months,
Yeah.
because I'm like, okay, well, I know how to entertain. I know how to speak to my audience. I love speaking to my audience. I
Yeah.
know where they are. I know
Yeah.
what they do. I know where they live. And now I can actually use the logical side of understanding the traffic, understanding how to look after them
Yeah.
for future purchase. Um, and I think
Yeah.
it seems a bit emotionally detached from me. It's why it never came,
Hmm.
so easy to me to understand, because looking at people as numbers and, acquisition, all that stuff, it seems wrong, but it's also essential to grow. So,
Yeah.
but you need both.
Yeah.
You need
Okay.
both completely.
Yes, yes. So if I have to summarize what you said, Lucy, now you become way more data driven, right? Which kind of guiding you every towards the path. But we all know it has to be a perfect combination of both the sides, right?
Yeah.
Data plus intuition, and that. Yeah.
But also the energy
Yeah.
that we exhaust into creating that social commerce, is high energy, and the data is essential for us to make those decisions as well. Like, should we be doing, you know, X amount of live streams, or should we be putting that budget into something else, or should we be, it's, like you said, staying nimble. Like, we want to stay self-funded. I'm not looking for investment anytime
Sure.
soon. We're a profitable company. We have been year on year. So there's no reason to stop doing that. I like the nimbleness of being self-funded.
No,
Um,
absolutely, but comes with a lot of merits and lot of positives there, right? So credits, and it's not easy. The market's not been easy post the pandemic when the traffic went of haywire. Things have really not been easy, but trying to reach the level that you have is way commendable.
Thank you.
Good. So as a brand owner and a founder, Lucy, because the market is complex and it's always changing, right? What would be your top three priorities for the next year?
So there's top ones, and then there's the categories in them. I guess for the next 12 months, the priority
Mm-hmm.
to is growth. But then second to that, well, not second to that, but to partnered with that is retail merchandising and implementing, a very good stock strategy and inventory forecasting, so cash flow stays there and flowing.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but doing them in more, I guess, sensible decision making. Looking for
Makes
those
sense.
little things that make the big difference instead of shooting for the big, extravagant decisions. I think, again, I always say, probably oversay it now, but like not letting your ego get in the way of making these decisions. You can easily do,
Yeah.
like, let's do a PR event, let's do this, social
Yeah.
event or whatever else, and it's a luxury that not all of us can afford to do yet, and it isn't where we should be spending our. It's not even just money; it's mental, that goes into the
Yeah.
time and exhaustion.
Everything together. Yeah.
Yeah,
Everything
so
together is time, money, resources,
mm,
and I again I echo your voices there because we are in a similar stage, trying to be there. We've raised some funds, but not insane amount, etc. Because we wanted to be sure on what we're doing on the
yeah,
product side, etc. And I always say this to my teams is not having crazy amount of capital is very good because that makes us creative,
yeah.
right?
Mm.
Otherwise, the easiest solution to every problem is throw money at it.
Throw money. I love it. I agree. I mean, I hate it and I love it all at the same time.
Yeah. It comes with its constraints for sure, but yeah, right.
Yeah, I
Um,
think there's strength to that though, like needing to. There's so much strength when you're the one that's got to decide how far the money can go. And
yeah,
I think as much of a weight and a burden it is to carry, I think that's what's kept us going. Because if the person that's
yeah,
making all the decisions isn't also so clued up on the finances, then you're just easily wandering down a very expensive path.
yeah, totally. But there's something interesting you also mentioned there is because you started as an online only brand. Are you
Mhm.
also trying to go offline? What's your retail strategy given the market is completely fluid there?
No, I mean, no, I wouldn't want a retail space. I wouldn't. Again, it's ego. I
No.
think no, unless we were, ended up being like Tiffany's and we had a beautiful boutique on Regent Street. It would be kind of big scale Regent Street. That's when I'd get my boutique, but that's because money's so crazy. It's just like, oh, let's just have a boutique on
Yeah,
Regent Street. But that being said, I do see huge opportunity for in person sales, and I do have plans that I've been building actually for since day one, which
okay,
is quite exciting. Yeah, but
all
it's
right,
rent
okay,
free.
all right. So you, yeah, okay. So you're not spilling all the beans here, which I see,
No.
which is good.
Yeah.
All right. No, there are a lot of these pop-ups and stuff like that also that I see. Brands which are digitally focused can go and do this rather than having a full retail store, but participate in pop-up stores. And so
Yeah,
yeah,
we've done pop-up
yeah,
stores. I think they're good. I
yeah,
mean, we've still seen more success from online, from doing like the live
yeah,
streaming. I think that's something that I really want to tap into more. Like that's this year, I plan to do a lot more live streaming. And
yeah,
actually, there's opportunities to do the live streaming from our own platform. Um,
yeah.
I don't know if you've seen any of the brands that are doing that, but kind of
Yeah,
integrating
I
it with
have.
all of our social channels all the way through to
Yeah,
Shopify, just to really,
yeah,
because at the end of the day, you want your traffic going to your store, don't you?
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, pop up stores. I'm a bit. A
Bit
lot of
hit
online
miss.
marketing
Okay.
needs to be done for them to be well to be
Yes.
successful.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, but on that, you are a big believer on social and video commerce. Then coming forward, you think that's really gonna
Yeah, I
change a
think
lot or add?
yeah, I do. But I think the basis of that is remembering what social commerce is social. It's word of mouth. It's people. And
Hmm.
if you took
Hmm.
if social media didn't exist, social commerce or social um, commerce would just be people in the streets, which it used to be, conversing
Hmm.
about products because it's made them feel a certain way. And that's
Hmm.
why, the kind of thing that I tend to say is like the ants. I like to have an army of ants over a queen bee. And that's the same with influencers and creators because the masses, I'd rather thousands of women who only have influence over their handful of friends adore my product and maybe get a benefit from sharing the product than one queen bee
Hmm.
who probably just got paid stupid amount of money to talk about it, doesn't even wear the product. It's kind of, again, it's stripping back the ego thing. It's like, you know it's the, I don't know if you've watched the film Mean Girls, but like the saying of them is like, you can't sit with us, right? Because you're not wearing this, you're not doing this, you're not cool
You're
enough.
not okay.
But
Okay.
where we come
Yeah.
from is everyone can sit with us, and we're building the chairs as we're acquiring you guys, as you're joining the community, we're building the seats. The seats
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
all exist yet, but as we grow, so does the community. And yeah, social commerce, all it is just an online version of what it always used to be, which was when friends used to go around each other's house, or they go to the hairdresser and they talk to their hairdresser about what they're doing at the weekend, and word of mouth.
That's a yeah. Well, that's a beautiful perspective, and I think you put it so nicely and plainly without using jargons or trying to use some crazy words that most people get confused with.
I just don't know
But
them.
it's which is so good. Um, I'm really enjoying this, Lucy. But in interest of time, I have like two more questions, right? Um, so if you had to do it all over again today, right? Or a new founder in the space of jewelry who wants to launch a digital first brand, what are the top 5 things you would suggest to focus on more importantly than cutting through the noise?
Get comfortable being in front of the camera straight away.
Wow. Yeah.
That
Yeah,
would be
that's
my first tip. Yeah, number one.
excellent. Okay. Okay.
Number two would probably be to film everything that you're doing.
Okay.
And they all kind of link in, but one, two, three would be, yeah, get comfortable in front of the camera, film everything that you're doing, um, and perform in front of the audience before they even exist. So don't start posting content once you've got a following, right? Because that doesn't happen. You've got to pretend that they exist for them to
Yes.
arrive, and confident in who you are and confident in who your brand is, even though it might not have made a sale yet. I think that
Yeah.
confidence is so important because people, it's all trust, right? And if you don't trust yourself and you're not confident in yourself, then why will others be trusting of you as well?
Wow. Wow. Really cool. Really cool. As in, so many guys, again, I've spoken to, they've said very different things. Focus on the product, don't just rely on performance marketing, etc. But I think you're the first one who's coming up and saying very simple: be comfortable on the camera, be in front, go and film everything, because I think the new age of your consumers and your ICP, as we call it, are all looking at that.
Just figure it. You're figuring it out. There's never an end to when you've got the best product, when you've got the best marketing strategy. So it's people want to actually see you figuring it out, and that's what they're part of your journey, right? And if you really, really want to do this, and you've got there's longevity to what you're doing, then you're going to have to enjoy the journey and know that the journey is going to be a long one. So people want to be part of it, and they really do. They want to see the behind the scenes. They want to see the ugly. They want to see the mistakes, because it's only human, and it's that relatability that is why they're following you. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, really, 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 really true. Um, and the last one, Lucy, which is the toughest one. So brace yourself and don't say I didn't warn you. Um, you have to tell us something about yourself that you've never told anybody.
God, I'm a bit of an oversharer. I don't think there is anything.
Yeah,
Oh,
but a funny incident or something funny or a story or, yeah.
one thing I've never told anyone, or
Yes.
like a secret. Oh God, I
A
actually
secret.
don't know. Um,
Which, yeah. Like a lot of people have said this that they love playing guitar, but they suck at it. People have said that they are founders, like DTC brand owners, and
mm,
they say that I still hate social media. Things like that. Something about
okay,
them. Yeah,
okay. Um, I actually don't know what to say.
I have put you on the spot, and I
Yeah,
have to say I'm sorry, but I'm enjoying it.
yeah. I mean, luckily you can edit this out.
And now I'm,
I'm trying to think what
yeah,
I think that's clearly this is a sign that I don't do anything other than working, so I don't actually know.
yeah. But I
Uh,
know how meticulous you are at work, and we're all seeing the brand and the product that you've been able to create. Uh, so yeah, last chances.
something someone no one knows about me. I think it's the whole no one knows about me. Everyone knows everything about me. Um, I can tell you like a fact.
Yes, please
I have a
go
fact.
for it.
I'm trying to think. Well, there's like a couple of facts. When I was so
Okay.
like I grew up as an actress, and I really wanted to be, I kind of wanted to be like the main character in some cool Netflix rom-com. And I did
Yeah.
a lot of musical theatre growing up, and the role that I played in the incredible musical, which is The Lion King, is actually Pumbaa, which is the warthog, which was my
Ah.
leading role, which was good fun. I'll get some BTS of that behind the scenes.
Ah.
Um,
Nice.
so that was an interesting one. Um, and yeah, that's probably an interesting fact about me being musical
That's
theatre.
really interesting because that's quite a complex character and quite a lot thing going in there as well. So
I think
uh,
that probably is a lot of a reflection of me. I kind of like playing the Joker, the class clown. Um,
but the classy one. So yeah.
the classy clown.
Yeah, that rhymes as well. So even better.
Yeah, I've probably got
Okay.
another one, but I can't think. I'm trying to think what's on my Hinge profile that I say to make me sound exciting. I don't think there's anything on there.
But
No.
everything what you've said is has been extremely exciting, Lucy, because it is it is very fresh again, and I'm going to stress on this topic is excuse me, your perspective, because you build a very cool young age brand with all the which is founder led, brand oriented, and very social driven, right? um, excuse me, that has a lot of value, and in my opinion that's just how brands need to be created for the future. Cutting through the noise where the founder stands up themselves and say, you know what, hey, I'm selling this, but it's me, I'm you, and I'm using it, you can use it. And amazingly put that you did is, the seats are here, come and take it, and it's for everyone to share.
Yeah.
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 So really really nice. This is very fresh and very nice thought process as well, and I hope a lot of brand owners and founders kind of look and learn from your journey, because you're doing great. We see that around, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you.
And for all the things that you haven't told me, now that the problem of being good is, you're being asked to do it again, so I'm gonna, hope to invite you into the podcast again in the coming days. But we wish you all the luck, and just going and seeing the numbers go up for you, doing more and more, is something we all wish for.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And thank you for inviting me to be on.
Thank you, Lucy. The pleasure was all mine, and looking forward to catching up with you again soon.